Hi, I'm John Cash. Welcome to John Cash Ministries and Revelations Church's Daily Devotion. Today I want to talk about prayer. In particular, prayer pays off. We're looking at Luke chapter 18, verses 1 through 5. And here's what the Bible says. Then Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up. Now listen, Satan would love to get you to believe that if you just say a prayer once or twice and God doesn't answer, it's done, move on. Okay? That's not from God. Satan would love you to think that because you are not perfect, God's not going to answer your prayers. That's not from God. Satan would love you to think that because you have this in your life or this in your life, your prayer goes up, hits the ceiling, bounces off, God's not going to listen. And that's not from God. Now, we do understand the Bible teaches that constant habitual sin will certainly hinder your prayers. But thank God we have a friend in Jesus and he can see through all of our weaknesses. Now with that in mind, here's what the Bible teaches about persistent prayer. In verse 2, the parable goes like this. In a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared about men. Now I want to explain as we read about this judge is not like God, okay? Didn't care about men? Of course God cares. So this is an evil judge. So he's using an interesting parable to describe the need to persistently pray. But the judge certainly is not him. He's nothing like this judge. But he is the ultimate judge with a big J. So we have a judge in the town, and he was basically a secular judge. He was not Christian at all. And it basically says he could care less about God. He could care less about people. He was just evil, pretty much. Now, understand, most judges are rich, and they are well known throughout the community. They are politically connected. So we have this individual who was well known, rich, and powerful. That's the judge, verse 2. Verse 3, we find on the other extreme a widow. And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with the plea, grant me justice against my adversary. So on the other side of the coin, we have a poor widow who on the social ladder would be at the bottom. On the political ladder would be below the bottom. And financially was down in the dirt too. She had no power over this judge at all. And what happens? It says that she kept coming to him with one plea. Now understand, when we go to God in prayer as the ultimate judge and our friend too, that's just a thought away, a word away. She had to get out of her house, go to where the judge was, and basically plea for justice. So she was going out of her way to this judge a lot. And she kept saying this, grant me justice against my adversary. Obviously, somebody had done something wrong. She was looking for justice. Now, I might add, we're all looking for justice. We're all looking for life to be fair. And let me just be blunt with you. While Satan is the god of this world, small g, life is not going to be fair, and you're not always going to get justice on the earth. Eventually, justice will come. Sometimes it comes on earth, and all the time it will come into eternity. So this is what she's looking for. And the Bible says in verse 4, for some time he refused. But finally he said to himself, even though I don't fear God or care about men, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets her justice. In other words, she was pestering him to death. Why did she eventually get her request? He didn't want to see her face again. He is fed up with her. She just kept coming and kept coming. And finally, because of her persistence, she got her request. Now remember, God is not like this judge, but this concept of persistence is very much a biblical concept. Don't give up on God. Don't think, okay, I'm going to pray a couple times and I'm done. You keep praying and praying and praying and praying. I've met people who've prayed 20, 30 years for something and finally got it. Sometimes they don't get it. But you just keep doing it. Why? To prove that you're saying to God, I know you exist. I know you hear my prayer. And just keep banging down the doors of heaven. And folks, faith always keeps going. Faith keeps banging the doors of heaven down. It ends with this. He says, I will see that she gets justice so that she won't eventually wear me out with her coming. Some translations actually say attack me. But the bottom line is she had worn him down to the point where he finally gave up. Now, we're not going to wear God down. And he's never going to be just tired of hearing our prayer. But what we do know is that when we persist, we are showing God our faith. And as we have more faith, God is more likely to answer our prayers. God bless you. Thank you for your support of John Cash Ministries and Revelations Church.